What's up, y'all? It's Moose here, and today I'm going to be talking about the cost of Disney College Program. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about how much it cost me to get started from application process to the first week up until traditions and how much money I personally spent. So without delaying anything, let's get right to it. So beginning of the college program, before I even got there, I had to pay an application fee and accept my job offer. During my job offer process, I found out what my role was. I was going to be quick service restaurant at Pecosville in Magic Kingdom, and I also had to pay an application fee. The application fee was around $435. That $435 included the application processing fees and also the events that are going to be happening in Flamingo Crossing, and also included the first week of rent. Because I was not going to be working right off when I got there, they couldn't just take out rent from my paycheck, so I had to pay that in advance through the application fee process. Yeah, and in order to do that, I also had to do some extra expenses too, so I had to start doing extra shopping in order to buy some new clothing, and also just buy some extra necessary things to make sure I had everything I needed to get to Florida. So I spent another $150 on clothing and also just miscellaneous supplies that I might be needing when I get there. I also had to plan to get there a day early because I wanted to make sure I was there early and prepared for whatever my check-in time would be for Flamingo Crossing when I was going, and I also wanted to make sure I went to onboarding on time because the day you check in was the day that I had to do onboarding also. So for the hotel room, I spent a total of around $65, and I stayed there the night before. It was just one night, and the next day I got to Flamingo Crossing. One of the things I also forgot to mention is that once I landed at the airport, I never realized how Uber in Florida during peak hours are extremely expensive. So because of that, to get to my hotel the night before and also to get to Flamingo the next day early in the morning, I had to spend a total of around $130 on Ubers because they were all during peak hours and I just didn't want to have to deal with the hassle. So I just kind of called it. My flight was delayed 3 times, so by the time I got to Florida, it was around 3 a.m. and it was during peak hours too. So I just kind of took one that hurt my wallet and I just paid for the Uber ride. And also the next morning I had to wake up around 6 a.m. So everything combined, including tips for my Uber, it was $130 to get to Flamingo Crossing the next day. So as you can see, I've spent a decent amount of money already. So once I got to Flamingo and I moved in, I realized that even though the apartment in Flamingo does come with utensils, it's very bare minimum. There's like 5 to 6 plates, just a few amounts of forks and spoons, and 1 pot and 1 pan. That's literally not enough for anything. So as soon as I moved in there, I had to go to the grocery store and buy more apartment supplies because I couldn't pack everything with me due to flying and the limited amount of space I had. So I got to my apartment and looked at everything that I needed, and then I ended up going to Target and I started shopping for apartment supplies. The first thing I bought was bedding, so I needed to get a comforter, I needed to get some bed sheets, and I also needed a pillow because I couldn't pack any of that in my suitcase. So I spent a total of around $80 on just bedding, and I also spent another $150 on apartment supplies like cleaning supplies, brushes for the bathroom, toothbrush, toothpaste, anything that I might need for like a week to a month in terms of groceries. That's how much I spent. I also spent around another $80 just buying frozen food because I don't know how to cook, so I had to buy some Lunchables and frozen food because during the entire program I had to learn cooking as I went through it. When I got there, I just didn't know how to do any of that stuff. So I spent another $80 on frozen food, other than my groceries too. So those are the things I've spent money on so far, and this is only like the first 3 days of being there. So I had to spend application fee money, flight money, money for my luggage, money for my hotel, getting there, Uber rides, and I also had to buy apartment supplies. The next things I did over the past few days was that we had about 4 to 5 days before traditions that we just get free time that we have nothing to do. So I went to Universal and I got the Universal annual pass for around $400. My reasoning for that was we were going to have block out days at the Disney parks when it gets busy. So what I thought about was I got an annual pass for the whole year. If I go around 2 to 3 times, I'm gonna get my money's worth out of it. So to me, that was a really good investment for me. And I also realized that if you get the Universal annual pass, you also get a discount on things that you buy there. So I spent $400 on that, and I think it was one of the best things I did, because whenever I got tired of going to the Disney parks, or whenever the Disney parks were blocked out, especially during the holiday seasons where we couldn't go to the parks for 2 to 3 weeks or even months, I used to be at Universal every single day, and I used to always go to Halloween Horror Nights too. I was able to use the annual pass to get a discount on that. So to me, that was a really good investment for my art, because I had a lot of fun with it. Other than that, I also spent another $506 or so eating out or hanging out with friends and just doing stuff around Orlando, because that week, but once again, you have a lot of free time. When we moved in there to Flamingo, we were the fall advantage group, so we were the very first group going in there right after COVID had ended. So it took them a while to give us our main entrance passes. So I went to Universal, I went to the local areas, so I spent around $506. So in total during that entire week and to get to the program, I spent around $2,085. And I know that sounds like a lot of money. That's because it is. The reason I was able to pay for it is because I had just graduated from college and I got a decent amount of money from my graduation. So I was able to use that money towards all these things over that period of time. I also took $2,000 just to make sure as extra savings account in case I had an emergency, I could use that. So that's a little bit of an idea of how much money I spent during that entire week writing for traditions and how much money it cost me to get to Florida during the Disney College program. If you find this video useful, let me know in the comments below, and please like and subscribe, and I hope y'all have a good day.